like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Ms. Deeroff.
Present.
Mrs. Kratz.
Here.
Ms. Nyman.
Here.
Mrs. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Here.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Here.
Mr. Zawada.
Here.
Mr. Brophy. Mr. Panarello.
Here. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Recent board meetings have included comments and behaviors that did not align with Board Policy 011, Principles for Governance and Leadership. This policy clearly outlines expectations for how board members should conduct themselves, including the following key guidelines: demonstrating respect by listening attentively and refraining from side conversations, avoiding any behavior that could be perceived as berating, belittling, insulting, or otherwise disrespectful towards fellow board members, district employees, or stakeholders. It is essential that all board members take time to review and reflect on Policy 011 and its operating guidelines. The decisions and actions taken by this board have meaningful and lasting effects on our classrooms, staff, and broader district community. Furthermore, while community engagement is a vital part of our governance, I kindly remind all community members attending our meetings to participate in a manner consistent with meeting protocols and to be mindful how you approach board members when leaving meetings. This ensures that everyone's voice can be heard safely and respectfully. Thank you. There were no previous executive sessions at this time, which leads us to the recognition showcase.
Good evening, everyone, and I'd like to welcome all of our guests here in person, as well as our virtual guests. My name is Dr. Scott Davidheiser, Superintendent here in the school district, and I have the honor this evening of recognizing 3 different award winners, and we'd like to start with our Silent Servant Award. Tonight's recognition showcase comes to you in 3 different parts. Our first 2 showcases feature students who have chosen education as their desired career path. And we begin with Cameron Urbasic. Cameron, who could not be with us this evening, is a Boyertown area senior high's first recipient of the Silent Servant Scholarship Award by the Peter Marsh Foundation. The scholarship is intended for students who recognize their intrinsic value, have developed empathy, maintain emotional well-being, foster a peaceful school environment, and have made significant career decisions. Bash selected Cameron for her compassion and understanding. She aspires to become an elementary school teacher and has participated in our internship program at New Hanover Elementary School, where she is gaining valuable experience working with students. Additionally, she has dedicated numerous hours to community service through her involvement with the National Honor Society, Green Cord, and Link Crew. And we sincerely hope she will join our district as a teacher here in the future. We want to congratulate Cameron, and we wish her the best as she moves on to Westchester University. Unfortunately, Cameron was unable to be with us this evening, but we do have a certificate that we will be getting to her tomorrow at some point. So congratulations to Cameron. Next, we would like to welcome Peyton Blake, Melanie Calvert, Rachel Serva, Sydney Peterman, and Hayden Reif Snyder to the podium. Ladies, if you would come forward. These young ladies are the first 5 BASH students to participate in Kutztown University's Early College Academy program. Mrs. Landis is also here with us this evening, and she represented our administrative team as Kutztown inducted these 5 women into the program on April 30th. And we're going to have Mrs. Landis share a little bit more about the program with our audience.
Thank you. We're very fortunate that our high school has several different opportunities for students who are interested in going into education. Prior to this school year, and including this school year, we have students who attend BCTC for early childhood education. We have internship opportunities throughout our district, as you heard for the student that was just recognized. We have dual enrollment intro to education course that's offered at Boyertown High School and through Montgomery County Community College. We have job shadowing experiences as part of the graduation project. We also have a preschool program at Bash where students in our FCS classes can go and volunteer and help in our pre-K counts classrooms. And then we became aware of a new opportunity for students, and that is through Kutztown University, and it's called the Early College Academy. And we are going to be participating for the upcoming school year with their education cohort. This was a new program that Kutztown just started this past year. We did not participate in their inaugural year. We had a few details that we needed to work out with Kutztown, but we are pleased to be able to offer this opportunity to students for the upcoming school year. The 5 students that you see behind me have applied for this program through a rigorous process. They need to maintain a certain grade point average, and they also need to be able to work their schedule in such a way that next year, during their senior year of high school, they will go up to Kutztown University 3 mornings a week in person to take college classes. They will take 6 credits in the fall and another 6 credits in the spring. So at the conclusion of their senior year of high school, they would have completed 12 credits, which is equivalent to a semester of college. And then on Tuesday, Thursday mornings, the other 2 days of the week in the morning, they will do internships in our schools back in district. And then in the afternoon, they will still attend high school and fit in their remaining graduation requirements to complete their requirements to graduate from Boyertown High School while simultaneously participating in this program. When we looked at doing this, we thought, we might have 1 or 2 students choose to participate. That's what many of the other districts that did it last year had, was kind of 1 or 2 per district. So for us to have 5 the first time we're doing this is absolutely phenomenal. And we look forward to hearing great things about the work they do at Kutztown and how they represent Boyertown through this experience. So congratulations.
And we also have certificates recognizing your entrance into the program. So if you just give me a minute. Peyton. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you back in 5 years here. Melanie. Congratulations. You as well. Rachel. Congratulations. Welcome into education. Sydney. Congratulations. Well done. And Hayden. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. And that takes us to our final recognition of this evening, and that is a special recognition for our senior board representative, Liliana Myers. Liliana, congratulations on making it through to your senior year and your contributions over the past couple of years and the assistance and certainly the noteworthy things that you've allowed us to hear from the student body through you and how you've represented yourself here. Through your role as a board representative. So thank you. We have some other guests this evening that want to be here and have some words to say on your behalf. So I'd like to invite Mr. Houck and Mr. Sparks to the podium. And we also have Mrs. Kratz who will be making some comments this evening as well. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Houck.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Houck, one of the assistant principals at the high school, and I have probably the easiest task I have is to be the principal that works with the student board reps. I don't really have to do much of anything other than assign them a room once a month. So first of all, Liliana and Allison, thank you for all your work this year. They do a lot behind the scenes. I know you see a brief snapshot at the meeting, but they really do work tirelessly, and they do it independently. So they do a phenomenal job. So I look forward to working with Allison and I won't take their thunder, but our newest board rep for next year in the future. But I do want to thank Mrs. Kratz, meets with them monthly, takes a lot of time on her schedule to do so. I know the girls appreciate it. So thank you, Mrs. Kratz. Thank you, Dr. David Heiser, Mr. Stout previously, and also Mrs. Kramer, because they kind of coordinate all the things with the student board reps, and it takes a lot of people to make sure we're on schedule. So thank you for them. And then Liliana. I've been kind of working with Liliana for a year and a half now, and I can say it's really easy to work with her over this time. But I have observed her. She's such a self-motivated student. She's involved with many things. I'm not going to list them all. But Impact Club is one she spent a significant amount of time with. She was a president as that as well. She's part of NHS and a number of different roles throughout our building. She does all these things while balancing many high-level AP/DE courses and also a job throughout the week. She truly exemplifies the characteristics portrayed in the Boyertown Portrait of a Graduate, and I wish her the best of luck in the future. Currently, Liliana is planning on attending Indiana University of Pennsylvania to major in political science / Homeland Security, while also being accepted into their Cook Honors College at IUP. Liliana was also honored with receiving the William M. Hoffman Scholarship this year, and after college, Liliana, her current goal is to work in some type of field of Homeland Security after graduation. So Liliana, thank you for everything.
Yeah, just wanted to say thank you for your time, your commitment, the two of you. You put in a lot of long hours. You come in early to do meetings. Liliana, obviously, wish you the best coming up here in graduation. It's hard to believe your last week is before you. In fact, your last day at Bash is only 2 days away. Not that I need to tell you, but congratulations. I appreciate everything you did, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
I just also wanted to thank Liliana for her service as the school board senior representative this year. She did an amazing job in both preparing and presenting her reports. She's also been a kind and encouraging mentor to Allison, who will thankfully still be with us next year. Something that I've observed about Liliana is that she's positive and idealistic, while at the same time being realistic and practical. And I think that's a rare combination that will serve her well in college and in life. Thanks again for a job well done. We wish you all the best, and we will miss you.
Liliana, I'm going to ask you to come around and come forward. We have a special gift on behalf of the district. So one of the recipients of our newer tote bags here. So one of the first to receive. And I think you'll find the contents inside very acceptable for you on your next step. And a special certificate recognizing your service to school, our district, and the community as a student representative to the Board of School Directors. So thank you. Thank you.
Liliana, you're back up. Student representative report.
Good evening, board members and meeting attendees. This year has flown by. I still remember my interview for this position as though it were yesterday, and it's hard to believe that this is Liliana's last board meeting. Liliana and I can both agree that this has been an extremely rewarding experience, allowing us to come to a considerable understanding of how the school board helps turn the gears that define the inner workings of our school district. So for Liliana's last time and my last time as your junior representative, we will be presenting you with the achievements, activities, and events taking place within the high school for the month of May. I just want to take a moment to thank Liliana for her guidance this past year and wish her well in her journey to college. But on a less sad note, what a better time to introduce a new friendly face that we will come to know next year, our new junior representative, Audrey Clemson.
Audrey, I'm not going to make this too awkward, but if you want to stand up and just wave, just so that they see your face before next year. Audrey, from the moment she began to speak in the interview room, was a clear voice for others. Her passion and confidence in speech absolutely blew us away, and her passion for representation and supporting her peers made her an even more qualified person for this position. Most of her time, she is committed to her job as a hostess at Doc's Irish Pub, but in her free time, she enjoys reading, crafts, baking, and cleaning. Her current future plans include obtaining a bachelor's degree in either neurobiology, communication sciences, linguistics, and a master in neurolinguistics. We are so excited for her to take over the position of junior representative, and we wish her the best of luck.
This month, seniors got a break from their senioritis as one of the most look forward to events occurred early this month, prom. At the Sunnybrook Ballroom, seniors got to dance, have fun, walk down the promenade aisle, reminisce on the years at Bash, and celebrate with friends and acquaintances. One fun addition of prom this year was over 50 raffle baskets. Each Bash senior got several raffle tickets to place in the baskets and got to collect their winnings at the end of the night. We hope that everyone who attended prom had an amazing time, and it was so exciting to see all the beautiful dresses and suits.
Crunch time has started. Finals are starting soon, and graduation is occurring on June 6th. With less than 10 days in the school year, the bittersweet feelings are starting to settle in. Seniors are preparing to walk across the stage into a new stage of their lives with many opportunities to come. As a senior, I can attest that the feeling is surreal. Receiving our caps and gowns for our class picture solidified how soon graduation is. While finals might provide a bit of stress, the freedom that summer provides will hopefully motivate students to end the year with a bang and do well on finals.
The Bash Music Department once again hosted Trills and Thrills, in which younger students throughout PA came to perform and get judged on their performances. After getting their scores, they all got to go and hang out at Dorney Park. Many students helped the event thrive and had lots of fun at the event these last few weeks. We thank the Bash Music Department staff and the student volunteers for making this event possible.
Keystone testing, taking place the week of May 12th, has finally concluded. We are back to a normal schedule, and students not taking the state tests unfortunately can no longer sleep in 2 more hours. Despite this, we are still proud of all of our Keystone test takers, and we hope that testing went as smoothly as possible. We can't talk about the Keystone testers without speaking of our AP students. After working tirelessly in their classes all year, AP students were able to display their knowledge on the AP exams throughout May. Allison took 5 exams this year, and I'm sure she is ready for summer. Congratulations to all AP and Keystone testers.
We would love to tell you that we can't wait to introduce Bash's Best Moments next month, but as this is the last meeting of the school year, Audrey and I are excited to report to you all next school year. And once again, thank you to the board and especially our liaison, Ms. Kratz, for being so very welcoming and supporting of this position.
Thank you very much, ladies. Appreciate it.
Public comment period number 1, Donnie Savage, budget.
Tonight, you'll be voting on the budget with a 3% tax increase and taking $1.8 million from your fund balance to balance that. There's some really good stuff in there for students. I think it looks like a good budget for this year. So what I'd like to comment on is the process or lack thereof. I have a lot of questions, and you don't have to get back to me. These are rhetorical questions. But what's the long-term plan? What's the big picture? What costs are out of your control and are increasing faster than your 3% increases, like special ed? And what's the impact on that long-term? What's the long-term capital project strategy beyond the Boyertown air conditioning and roof and possibly turf field? Why aren't you advocating for the $1.4 million proposed in the Pennsylvania budget for adequacy funding when you know that our representatives are probably not in favor of that? Why are you advocating? I'm glad that you're advocating for a cap on cyber charter, but why only 10K? Why not 8K? That's worth $1.5 million to you. Why aren't you discussing innovative ways of generating revenue and reducing expenditures? I feel like this is not the fiscally conservative board planning that you've gotten here yourselves elected on. I don't even feel like it's fiscally responsible. And no, Mr. Mr. Panarello, this is not getting all being taken care of by the Strategic Planning Committee, which may help the board understand the community's goals and priorities and set goals for the school district, but how it's paid for is the sole responsibility of the board. Thank you for listening tonight.
At this time, we'll be looking for the approval of the May 13th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
Sawada moves.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
It takes us down into the discussion information section. We do have one item up for discussion this evening, and this was an agreement that came to us after our last committee of the whole meeting. However, does have some timeliness to it. So I've asked Mrs. Bartman to come this evening to just share with you some information about Access and the Access program itself, and any questions that you may have. You will see this item later in the agenda as it is in the itemized section.
Good evening. The School-Based Access Program is a cooperative effort between the Pennsylvania Department of Education, the Pennsylvania Department of Public Welfare, and the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. It allows schools to request reimbursement for services provided to special education students who are eligible for medical assistance. Reimbursement is made from a special fund administered by the State Department of Human Services in cooperation with Medicaid. This contract that we're looking for you to approve will allow us to participate in the School-Based Access Program for the upcoming school year.
Mrs. Nyman, question?
What is the rate that we get back? I mean, is it worth our participating in this, that we're getting enough back? Or is it just, we're gonna be using money to get the information and we're not gonna get enough reimbursement out of it?
I don't have the exact rates. Everything is billed differently, so we can bill for one-on-one paraprofessionals, we can bill for transportation. There's different aspects. We can bill for speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, for students that have medical assistance. I don't have the exact dollar amounts for all of that, but I'm sure I can get that to you.
Ms. Deeroff?
For instance, how much did we bill last year and how much did we get back? That'll tell us.
I don't have the exact information to
Have it
share,
for
but
last year?
I can get that to you.
Do you have it for last year?
Not on me right now. I don't have the exact for last year.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mrs. Bartman. Item B is just a generalized fund snapshot that has been listed in the past. And you can see both the fund balances that are there along with capital reserve. That takes us down to finance reports.
Good evening. Tonight I will be presenting two highlights from the April 2025 Treasurer's Report. For our local revenue, delinquent tax collection was approximately $148,546.16. Earned income tax collection was $1,429,114.57. Transfer tax collection was approximately $99,155.60. And for state revenue, basic education subsidy received was $2,806,152. Our pre-K count subsidy was $48,375. Rental reimbursement subsidy was $149,193.21. And our health services subsidy was $115,795.46. And for expenditures, our salaries, benefits, and professional services accounted for about 80% of our total expenditures for the month of April. And that concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
At this time, we'll be looking for a motion to approve the treasurer's report as it is presented.
Zawada seconds.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Broad Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Takes us down to item 9, the superintendent's report, the itemized agenda, and we begin with item A. Recommendation from administration for the board to approve the 2025-26 final general fund budget as presented and listed.
Zawada moves.
I'll second.
Ms. Deeroff,
The way it's presented with a lot of questions not answered, I'm going to have to vote no.
Mrs. Kratz,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
No.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Broad Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Takes us to item B, the homestead farmstead property tax relief. And administration does recommend the board to approve the homestead farmstead property tax relief as presented.
My name is Carol Seconds.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Broad Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Just a quick comment before we go to items C and D. And if you recall, we did have participation from both the Pennsylvania Economy League and Steps to Achieve who presented at our last work session involving the proposed enrollment studies here in the district. So we have listed both vendors here. The actions we're asking for, the administration is asking for this evening is that you vote one of these vendors in or none of these vendors in through your actions this evening. So items C and D. So under item C, the board, our administration recommends the approval of the Pennsylvania Economy League to conduct an analysis of demographics, community growth patterns, and enrollment projections for Boyertown Area School District at a cost of $30,000. That is the adjusted rate that they came back with.
Excuse me. Pennsylvania Economy League, was that the first one that was presented by a woman?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
I'll move. Discussion? Go ahead.
If we don't vote for either one of these, what happens next?
So we will have to, readjust the RFP, go back out for an advertisement. With regard to it, we can look at other vendors that also submitted during the process that took place. Remember, the administration recommend bringing these two vendors in for an interview since they met the scope of services that were required, and as an additional component, we asked them to come in to interview and ask questions and see if there was any adjustments and flexibility to any of their rates and such. So we could always go back to the vendor list of those that did submit proposals for this, and there were some others, many of which did not meet the full scope of services that were listed. Mrs. Deeroff?
So you're saying either way, we're going to have this done just by...
Well, it's up to you. If you
Well, no, he said if we don't vote for either of those. I thought that was your question.
if you don't vote for either of those, then nobody proceeds in terms of, a vendor for the study.
But couldn't you say you're going to go out and look for another
we'd have to go back to the list of vendors that did also submit proposals. There were other, I believe there were 6 total that submitted proposals. These were the 2 that met the scope of services and the administration felt were most in line with what it was we were asking for in terms of a study.
So what I'm saying, at the end of the day, we're gonna find someone to do this.
It
Yes,
would
that is
that-
attempt,
it would be the recommendation of administration to have that done. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Nyman.
You said there were others that submitted, and you said some of them didn't meet the scope of the work. How many others that did meet the scope of the work were there?
I have to go back to, was there anybody else that met?
I don't know that there was.
No,
Anybody else that
I think
met
with,
the specs that we put in the proposal.
I think it was 4 others that did not completely meet the scope of services
Were they
in their
close?
proposal.
That,
They-
you know, maybe if we
they
nudged
lacked-
them a little bit, they could come into meeting what we wanted.
We could certainly go back to them. I did make a couple calls of reference with regard to the PA Economy League and have confidence. I would agree with probably most of you that the presentation you heard a couple of weeks ago was not the type of presentation that we would hope to hear with regard to that. But on my calls of looking into the PA Economy League, I did find and some confidence in terms of the work that they could complete the job to the satisfaction of what we're asking for.
Could we table this and have them come back in and talk to us, since you've talked to them and it wasn't that great of a presentation?
We can certainly ask them. We'd have to, you're in the middle of a motion, so you'd have to vote this motion down for it not to be selected as a vendor. And I guess, Mr. Sultanic, would we still need to take item D as a motion?
Item D is,
The steps to achieve as the other vendor, if the board wanted to table this.
what's the nexus between steps to achieve and the Pennsylvania Economy League?
There are 2 separate vendors who were in 2 weeks ago to interview.
Oh, so it's, I see. The motion right now is to approve the Pennsylvania Economy League.
Correct.
Before we go to further options, we would then have to vote to steps to achieve, would be my understanding, to see if there's a majority vote of the board to support that. But if not, then
It's
we would have to, you
The-
either go back and do a new RFP, or
right.
we're still in the status quo.
Yeah. So I think what Mrs. Nyman, you're asking, would PA Economy League be interested in coming back for a second round to share a little bit different approach to
I
their
believe we've used
presentation?
them before, and
You
they were pretty right on, and I would like to see a better presentation of it and what we're gonna get from that. I don't think that presentation was what it should have been.
Okay. Well, the motion is on the floor, so that motion will need to be voted on right now. And I would also suggest that we move then to item D to vote on steps to achieve. And if both come back as no's, we could take that direction and into consideration if that's the direction the board wants us to move in. Ms. Gratz?
Did you make phone calls about steps to achieve?
I did not.
You did not, okay.
And the reason for that was they had not completed an enrollment study to date. Their scope of services were met, but they had not completed an enrollment study to date. So I did not feel the confidence level with regard to them.
Is it the administration's recommendation to move forward with the Pennsylvania Economy League?
It is.
Ms. Deeroff.
So you want us to say which one we want?
Right now,
No,
the
just for
motion
the Economy
is
League.
for the Economy League, to, yes or no to approve the Economy League.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Takes us to item D, steps to achieve, and recommendation is for steps to achieve to be approved to conduct an analysis of demographics, community growth patterns, and enrollment projections for the Boyertown Area School District at a cost of $24,950.
Panarello moves.
Ms. Deroff?
No.
Mrs. Kratz?
No.
Ms. Nyman?
No.
Mrs. Scott?
No.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
No.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
No.
Mr. Zawada?
No.
Mr. Panarello?
No.
Motion fails.
Ms. Nyman, I will take your response there and request, and I will speak to them about coming in soon to be able to deliver an updated, just kind of a get to know you presentation and a little bit better of what we would expect from them.
Like I said, they did a good job before.
Yep.
So I would just like to see a better presentation.
Understood. Takes us to item E, the 2025-26 targeted school improvement. Administration recommends the board to approval of the targeted school improvement TSI non-Title I school plan as presented.
Zawada moves.
I'll second it.
Ms. Deroff?
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item F, the memorandum of understanding regarding pre-K counts program. Administration recommends the board of directors approve the memorandum of understanding regarding the pre-K counts program as presented.
Carol moves.
I'll second.
Ms. Deroff?
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item G, the settlement agreement for student 101409, and as the recommendation of the administration, the board approve the confidential settlement and release agreement for that said student.
Norman moves.
Ms. Deroff?
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under item H, the 2025-26 BCIU and Boyertown Area School District Special Education Services Agreement, as a recommendation by administration, the board approve this particular service agreement as listed.
Zawada moves.
I'll second.
Ms. Deroff?
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under item I, the 2025-26 Special Education Annual Service Agreements, and as a recommendation from administration, the board approved the 25-26 Special Education Annual Service Agreements as listed and presented.
I'll second.
Ms. Deroff?
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item J, the 2025-26 PA School-Based Access Program Agreement to participate, and is a recommendation of administration. Directors approve the Access Program Agreement to participate as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. Lyman.
It would have been nice to have some information on this as to where we stand with our refund basis, if it's actually worth our time. I know Mrs. Bartman said she could get us that information, but that's going to be after the vote. It would have been nice to have it tonight.
Ms. Nyman, we don't have the exact numbers tonight. The services that are provided that are access eligible, they're not services that would go away if we chose not to participate in the access program. What it does allow us to do is bill those expenses that are eligible for students that are eligible to provide that revenue back to the district. If we would say we don't want to participate with access, that doesn't mean we would eliminate expenditures that we're currently claiming.
I understand that part, but we might be putting out more money in personnel trying to do the access account to get the refund than we're getting back.
I don't have the exact numbers, but I know we've received more than what that person's salary is,
Okay, that's helpful.
and we can get that for you.
I would appreciate it.
Okay. Ms. Deeroff.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to vote no without that information.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Takes us to item K, the 2025-26 Richard Kern Foundation Agreement. Again, the administration recommends the approval of this foundation agreement as presented, as it does help to assist our student assistant program and team processes.
Panarello moves.
Zawada seconds.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item L, the 2025-26 Board of School Directors meeting calendar, and we have provided the updated version. Boxes do match, and so the administration is approving requesting the approval from the directors for this particular calendar as presented at our last meeting.
Zawada moves.
I'll second.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item M, the esports program, and administration is recommending to the Board of School Directors the esports program and administration to develop this particular MOU in conjunction with the CBA. Again, that is your vote this evening would be to designate whether we move forward with creating an MOU consistent with the CBA for this particular program. And just real quick, to update the board, we did have an inaccurate annual stipend figure announced at our last meeting, which was $6,836 for fall and spring semesters combined for next year. That's a recalculated number, which is actually $5,514. So it would be an approximately $1,300 savings comparative to what was reported out at our last meeting.
Panarello moves.
Zawada seconds.
Okay, Ms. Deeroff.
Is this going to be just a club or is it actually going to be a course?
It's both.
It currently is, it is a course. It's an elective option at our high school. Students can take it as an elective. What we're asking for is it to be a sanctioned club, to which we would then create an MOU with the CBA, allowing it to be a sanction and paid for our facilitators and for the program itself.
Because I got a lot of calls about, when are we gonna do something about our scores? When are we gonna have clubs or more courses to get? We're 39th in the nation right now with our scores. Boyertown is not, we went up a little bit this past year, but we just keep adding clubs.
Well, if you recall, we are a comprehensive high school, which involves a number of different things, which does also include clubs and activities. Part of that. So
But our scores are not coming up, and our expenses are. Thank you.
Ms. Giroff,
Gonna have to vote no on that one, sorry.
Mrs. Kratz,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
takes us to item N, the Middle School East Auditorium Sound System Project. And it is administration recommending to the board approve the Middle School East Auditorium Sound System Project as was presented. There were some questions, and once a motion is seconded, I can update the board on some other additional information with regard to this.
Sawada moves.
So the Boyertown Middle School East sound system equipment, including the soundboard amplifier, hanging microphones, monitor system, and additional accompanying equipment, are all 15 plus years old, with some pieces existing over 20 years, as they were not part of the renovation project back in 2005. Current equipment has served the building well. With changes in technology, our sound is no longer able to support our wireless microphone systems installed in 2022-23. The quote proposes a full upgrade of the soundboard to digital instead of analog programming. It upgrades the amplifying system and connections to our wireless microphones. Additionally, it replaces the hanging microphones, many beyond repair, choral microphones, and includes a new monitor system to ensure choral and musical productions can continue at ease. Since the quote was last updated in early April, a few manufacturers had price increases related to tariffs or other increases, and that is reflected on this update. And you do have the most recent update, and it equates to an approximately $500 uptick in costs. So the project cost for this $22,460.19.
Ms. Giroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
I have a question. I'm looking at the warranty on this stuff, $22,000, and am I reading this right, that we only get a 90-day period of warranty on $22,000?
So the additional information to this is that it is a 90-day warranty. There are service blocks that can be purchased based on hours that are also in addition to, that would have to be the decision of Middle School East once installed. But it is only a 90-day fully covered warranty. And then there are additional service blocks. So for those blocks, 15 hours is $2,200. In addition, for 24 hours, it's $3,500, and for 40 hours, it's $5,400. So there are some additional service blocks that can be purchased in order to help with that, but your full warranty is coverage for 90 days. You are correct.
I get over that on a coffee maker. Don't cost me $22,000. I'm gonna vote no.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Takes us down to item O, the cyber charter tuition rate resolution, and the administration recommends to the board of directors to approve the cyber charter tuition rate resolution. and supporting letters to our legislators here in Pennsylvania representing Boyertown.
Sawada moves.
Ms. Deeroff. Yes. Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Takes us down to item P, the 2025-26 sports student accident insurance, and his recommendation, the administration for the board to approve the 2025-2026 sports accident insurance as presented at our last meeting.
Sawada moves.
I'll second.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under item Q, the first reading of policy 807, opening exercises, moment of silence, and flag displays, and is a recommendation by the administration for the board to approve the first read of this policy 807.
I'll second.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item R, approval of board secretary. It is administration's recommendation for the board to appoint Mrs. Patricia Danicola as board secretary effective July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2029.
Pinarello moves. I believe it was Deeroff.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under item S, the approval of board treasurer, it is the administration's recommendation for the board to approve the appointment of Mrs. Carrie Fox to the position of board treasurer for the 2025-26 fiscal year.
I'll second.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item T, it is a recommendation of the administration. The board approve the overnight trip as listed. And if you recall, Mr. Pennington was here to share a little bit about the BASH TSA and our national students who are moving on to that competition.
Nyman moves.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item U, the May donation list, and it is the recommendation of administration board approve the May donation list as accepted, and the board accept those 5 donorships provided.
Nyman moves.
I'll second.
Could you read the money that the public is giving us, the individual companies?
I can certainly read those. Martin Stone Quarries is donating $8,100 for science curriculum. The Foundation for Boyertown Education donating $1,290 toward a variety of reusable sensory items. Foundation for Boyertown Education donating $6,712 for grades 9 through 12 precision measurement tools for engineering technology research. The New Hanover Upper Frederick Elementary PTCA donating $320 for 8 costumes used at Field Day. And lastly, the Giant Company of Gilbertsville, their 2025 Feeding School Kids Initiative earned a match donation of $6,561 that was have already been presented to the BASD Food Service Department support and supplement the school district nutrition programs.
Thank you.
Ms. Tiroff?
Yes.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And item V, the administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following personnel actions, including all the resignations, employment appointments, change of status, leaves of absences, and supplemental contracts as per the attached.
I'll move.
Second.
Mr. Tiroff?
Don't we get the dollar and cent amounts when we hire anybody anymore? We used to be on here, but I don't see any.
Mr. Hahn, can you respond to Ms.
Mrs.
Tiroff's
Tiroff, are
question?
you looking at?
The personnel agenda.
The only one that doesn't have any dollar amount is transfers, which means there's no change in salary there. Under professional hire, first one, there's a salary supplemental.
There's no change when they go to a different position.
So there's no change for any of those individuals. It's teacher to teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Tiroff?
No.
Mrs. Kratz?
Yes.
Ms. Nyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Brad Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Roger Updegrove?
Yes.
Mr. Zawada?
Yes.
Mr. Panarello?
Yes.
Motion carries.
So just a few comments with your approval of this personnel agenda this evening. One of our newest appointments is here this evening, and I wanted to recognize her, Mrs. Stephanie Petrie, who is the current building principal at Gilbertsville Elementary, is here this evening. And beginning July 1st will be our new director of the Office of Teaching and Learning, replacing Mrs. Landis, who is retiring on June 30th. So we welcome Stephanie aboard, and we are well prepared and ready for Stephanie to hit the ground running, and there'll be some transition times between now and July 1st in getting Stephanie prepared. So thank you for joining us, and welcome aboard. In addition to that, we have a resignation of a long-term member of our administrative staff, Mr. Scott Shields. Scott is here this evening as well. Scott serves 23 years here in the district, and we wish him well in his next steps and endeavors in his new school district to which he's going to be employed. But we do want to really thank you for all your time and energy and commitment to the school district through these 23 years. Came right out of high school, right? Here at Boyertown as an alum, and moved pretty quickly through those 23 years. So congratulations to you, and we wish you all the best. Thank you, Scott.
That leaves the public comment period number 2. Ms. Savage, board effectiveness.
I'll vote.
That leads us to board comment. Mr. Updegrove?
No comment.
Ms. Nyman?
I didn't hear anything on the fish rodeo. How was that?
The fish.
We were actually going to be doing a presentation at our June Committee of the Whole meeting, but it went extremely well. Going out and visiting that, we probably had, I would say, upwards of 40 students out there, and probably twice the amount of members out there assisting and helping. So it was a fabulous, little chilly out there fishing, but it went extremely well. And thanks to our special education department, the leaders, and Mr. Hauk in setting all of that up, and Quigley and our transportation services and getting folks out there, and most especially Boyertown Rod and Gun Club. They were magnificent, and just speaking to a lot of those members, they enjoy it as much, if not more, than some of our students in terms of being out there and being part of that. So very neat.
That's why I'd like to see a different group go every year so that other students get the privilege of being out there. It's a wonderful thing. The guys do an awesome job out there. They clean the fish and send them home with the kids. I mean, it's an awesome job, so it's definitely well worth it for the kids. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing. Ms. Scott? Ms. Deeroff?
Nothing.
Mr. Uppergrove? Mr. Wada?
I'd like to take this time to thank Scott for his dedication and loyalty to our school district. I mean, from starting, you saved, by taking your time to get all the certifications, you saved this district a significant amount of money. And whenever we had a need, we picked up the phone and you answered right away. So I feel we have a huge loss in the district right now, but I wish you the best because everything works out for the best in the future, and I hope it really works out best for you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Scott, I'd also like to thank you for your service. 23 years is a long time. I appreciate it, and to welcome Ms. Petrie into her new role. I hope it all works out and we get this district moving in the right direction.
All right, that takes us down to the announcements, and just a couple of announcements for everyone, including our public. We have 2 meetings in June 10th, Committee of the Whole, and June 24th, our legislative meeting, and they'll both be hosted here. And just a couple of updates for the board. Please, by Friday, if you plan on attending the commencement ceremony, please send Mrs. Kramer an email so that we can plan appropriately for you for seat reservations and such. And if there's any members of the board that need any planned transportation services, to also please let Mrs. Kramer know by Friday so we can make those necessary arrangements as well. No helicopters, no. Minivans only.
Meeting adjourned.